What's up, everybody? Welcome into this week's start sit video at the running back position. Now, clearly, I'm not Justin. He's on vacation because apparently fantasy analysts take vacations mid-season. Justin, what are you doing, man? Nah, it's all good. Just joking. He is on a well-deserved break. So I'm filling in this week, and I have 4 players that I want to highlight as specific start sits this week at the running back position. So first up, we have Jets running back Michael Carter, who's now the RB1 on the team after Breece Hall's ACL injury. But is he a must start now? Because they did trade for James Robinson. So is he a must start this week? And short answer, I don't think he is. And truthfully, I would honestly prefer to sit him if you can this week. It's not so much because of James Robinson. In fact, I don't even think James Robinson is going to be all that involved this week after Doug Peterson was commenting about knee soreness on Monday. He just got traded and he's acclimating to a new team. And the Jets themselves have even said that they're trying to ease in James Robinson. So I'm not sitting Carter because of James Robinson's presence. It's much more to do with the matchup this week against the New England Patriots, who have been stifling against the run. To date, the best PPR performance against them has been 15.7 points, which was actually Khalil Herbert last week. They held Nick Chubb to under 60 rushing yards, Jamal Williams under 60 rushing yards, Najee Harris under 50, and the Dolphins as a team under 40 rushing yards. The only players who even had some success in the running game were both Packers backs, where Aaron Jones went 16 for 110 and A.J. Dillon was 17 for 73, but neither of them actually found the end zone, so their fantasy days were just kind of meh. We know Michael Carter isn't a pounder between the tackles, and when he was the starter last year, it was much more on the back of receiving volume than rushing efficiency for him doing well for fantasy. Well, on that point, the Patriots also haven't given up a ton through the air to the running back position, with a season-high 6 targets to Najee, then 4 to Aaron Jones and Chase Edmonds, and then that's basically it. It's like 2 to 3 there from there on out. If Carter doesn't score this week, his ceiling is like barely hitting double digits, much like Najee, who had 89 total yards and 5 receptions, but that's 13.9 PPR points. I would love to start someone else over Carter this week if I can. Guys like Brian Robinson, Tyler Algier, Gus Edwards, Kareem Hunt. I just don't want y'all to think that just because Breece Hall is out and Carter is the new RB1 that he is a must start this week, because I really don't think that he is. Our third guy this week is Panthers running back Foreman, who I actually love this week against the Atlanta Falcons. We had reports that Chuba Hubbard could have returned to the game with a sprained ankle if he was needed last week, which I didn't buy. I kind of called BS on that one. And then 2 straight missed practices later for Chuba, I don't think that he's going to play this week, which is where a lot of my confidence in Foreman is coming from. And like I mentioned before, the Panthers torched Tampa Bay last week for a combined 180 rushing yards and a touchdown, plus an additional 4 catches for 37 yards. If Foreman is the guy who gets almost all of the work this week against an awful Falcons defense, then we could potentially see him turn in an RB1 performance, which Atlanta has actually allowed in nearly half of their games this year. So as long as Chuba is out, I'm super confident in what Foreman is going to be able to do, and I would start him over guys like Devin Singletary, Raheem Mostert, and if you want to get real spicy, I think you can even start him over Aaron Jones, who plays the Bills. And I would also play him over our final and 4th guy in this video, Najee Harris. And Harris, to me, is a massive sit this week against the Philadelphia Eagles. And I know that Zeke did well last week, but that was still just 15 fantasy points, mainly because he scored a touchdown, which was the highest fantasy points allowed to a running back by Philadelphia since DeAndre Swift in week 1. Dalvin Cook couldn't do it. Antonio Gibson without Brian Robinson couldn't do it. The combo of Etienne and Robinson on the Jags couldn't do it. And Eno Benjamin, while he scored a touchdown, was still the RB23 on the week with 14 PPR points. This is Najee's 5th matchup of the season against who are currently top 10 defenses against the run. And in the other 4 matchups, he's averaging just 11 PPR points per game, and that drops to 8 points per game if he doesn't score the 2 touchdowns that he did in those matchups, which I honestly don't think he does this week. So like I said, I'm playing Foreman over him. I'm playing Tony Pollard, Miles Sanders, as well as everybody else that I mentioned that I would play over Michael Carter. I would also play over Najee. So those are the 4 players that I specifically wanted to highlight. But guys, if you have any start sit questions, go ahead and throw them down in the comments. We'll get back to you before the game start on Sunday. And be sure to check out the video on wide receivers this week too. If you hadn't yet, it should be up by now.